Welcome to SCSU Logo, your show about everything Central Minnesota. I am Nu Cheng Vu.
And I'm Tashiana Osborne. Today we will be recapping some of the exciting events that recently took place in the St. Cloud area.
SCSU Logo starts now.
There is a very talented group of performers in the St. Cloud area. They use their drums to create lively beats and to uplift their audience. Here is more on the St. Scholastica Drum Ensemble.
My name is Jeremy Craycraft, and I teach at the College of St. Scholastica. We were reaching out to our extended campuses, in this case St. Cloud. We at the main university, or the main college, think it's important that we connect to the campuses that are still a part of our community. And one of the great ways to do that, of course, is to share our music that we do at the main campus with those extended sites. So we were here providing a concert, a meet and greet, and just an opportunity for students to meet some of our colleagues and peers from other institutions. The steel drum itself originated around 1935. Of course, it was in the pan yards of Trinidad and Tobago in poor lower class neighborhoods with basically generations removed former slaves. And so these people were literally making music for fun. They started hitting on biscuit tins, metal barrels, things out of the kitchen, and lo and behold, they discovered that if you pound on some of these dents, you could hear a pitch. So what happens is over the next 20 years or so, they develop the pan, which is essentially now an oil barrel that has been hammered out and then hammered up, and it creates these wonderful little bumps that when you strike them produce pitches. And it's been basically improved upon for the last 70 years to the point where now what you heard tonight was just a fantastic timbre made out of very thin metal.
The thing that I like most about the hand drum ensemble is that I really love the chance to be able to just go express myself musically, and it helps me deal with stress too. But I want to be able to keep playing drums. I've been playing drums since 2nd grade. It's been a part of me all my life, and I really wasn't ready to give it up.
Something that I like most about the djembe is it's very diverse, and it's much fun playing it. And when we are on set, we get like students to come up and play and practice with us.
The hand drum ensemble plays traditional hand drum music from places in West Africa. In addition to, we have a piece from Puerto Rico. And so it's very good to be able to not only play really good music, but also learn about the cultures from where they're from, learn about the cultures themselves, the significance of the songs they're playing. Not only does it help enhance your musical talent, it helps expand your knowledge of other cultures.
One of the great things about St. Scholastica is that primarily most of these students are in other professional degree programs. They do music because they're passionate about it, they love it, they've done it in high school, they'd like to continue it in college, but they know that it's not where they want to make their money as a career. So they're participating just for the joy of participating.
Stay tuned, there's more SCSU Local after these messages.
Well, I first started skating with my friend. He had an extra board, and then he just gave it to me, and I've been skating ever since. Well, when I don't land a trick and I have my mind set on something, and I'm not getting what I want, I just keep going for it until I get it right. My mom, she didn't go to college, so she wants me to experience that whole thing, and so I could end up getting like a good job. I think to get into college, I'll have to be determined, just like when I want to get a new trick, and skating's helped me realize I've got what it takes.
UTVS and KVSC 88.1 FM recently hosted their 33rd Trivia Weekend. Here's a look at some of the work of art students put into this production.
Overall, it went pretty well. We had quite a few volunteers come in during the midday, and then evenings, of course. In the middle of the morning, people tend to disappear, leaving 3 or 4 people to be stuck for 8 hours and no sleep. But that's part of Trivia Weekend. That's why everyone enjoys it.
You have a lot of people that aren't fully functioning.
It was fun with our crew planning things. We shot two videos, and that was just fun, like the whole crew aspect of it. Everyone had fun, and everyone.
All right.
Let's get it started in here.
The Huskies took on the Badgers in Wisconsin.
We did a lot of sporadic videos during Trivia Weekend, and you know, this is stuff it's not planned. It's just, you know, random. It's very, you know, let's grab the camera and shoot something, see how it turns out, edit it, color.
My favorite video was probably our general manager's he remade a scene from Reservoir Dogs.
Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you, and I'm wondering what it is I should do. It's so hard to keep the smile from my face.
Favorite video by far was Husky Meg's U2 music video.
Another video that we did was a satire of Video Killed the Radio Star. Another one we did was a satire of Lose Yourself, which we did a General Motors satire of the automotive industry, and I pulled a lot of images from the Action Squad and from historical places around St. Paul because I thought that would be a cool thing to do.
Doing 50 hours of TV, you get definitely, like, with people you haven't worked before, you can, I mean, 50 hours, you spend up all night working on stuff, directing, and just kind of seeing what everybody else prepared and what the TV or the radio station was doing downstairs. They kind of had a funny thing happen to them late at night, and everyone kind of had a good laugh on it. But
I think they did a goat and a sheep on a record player.
Visual number 15. These two friendly animals are happily interacting with meat in a not so subtle play of. God dang it. This is what happens when I can't pre-read these questions because there's a dance party in my studio.
But it brings you together, you know, being on like very little sleep, and then you're all working together to put on 50 hours of live television. It's really fun.
St. Cloud State University offers a wonderful program for local youth called Rec Kids. Rec Kids gives children a wonderful opportunity to meet new friends and to have fun with fitness.
I'm Jordan DeSantis, and my role is to coordinate everything that happens throughout the night and coordinate who's coming, register the kids, cutoffs. We have a limit of 100, so if we get to that point, I have to do cutoffs, and sometimes I have to call parents if kids need to go home or for whatever reason. I got involved with Rec Kids my freshman year, actually, when I volunteered. My friend at the time convinced me to come volunteer for a night, and I was like, okay. She's like, I'm gonna head the program next year, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. Sure, I'll help you, whatever. So sophomore year, I volunteered a lot for her, and then junior year, not so much, but I knew what was going on, and the coordinator at the time was like, Jordan, would you want to do this? Like, you'd be so good at it. You like kids, like you've done it before. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So Brittany at the time hired me and trained me in, and here I am.
I got involved with Kids Rec because I work at the fitness center and I hear about it. And I have baby cousins, and since I'm away from them, this gives me an experience similar to it.
I work for Campus Rec in the fitness center, so I volunteered with Rec Kids tonight, just as a supervisor, I suppose. Tonight, just kind of helping with odds and ends with the different groups, so kind of make sure everybody's in their right group and following directions.
I like it because most kids love you, and it's just, it's fun to come to. Fun to come to. I have a lot of cool volunteers. They make it fun and not stressful, and the kids are great. I mean, and you see a lot of variety of kids everywhere, and it's cool to watch them grow up.
There's some kids that don't really want to come out of their shell, and that's kind of what I was doing tonight, was working with a couple different kids who didn't really want to participate. So just trying to find something for them to do, get involved and have fun. Just make sure they're having a good time.
I know me, I like helping out little kids. We have some of them coming over here right now. I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It brings a lot of enjoyment to myself and my life, I guess.
I would encourage other people to get involved because it's giving back to little kids and teaching them like proper things and just giving them people to look up to.
I think the best part is, I know looking back at programs that I did this in the past, programs like this, and so I liked having the memories of the mentors and people that I met, the older people, that's what I'm doing now. So it's just kind of fun to be in that position when I was one of these kids a long time ago.
I would encourage it, especially if you're going into teaching or child development, anything in that area of study, because it looks great on a resume. The kids are fun, they're all different. They come in all shapes and sizes. It's just fun being around people, and it's kind of like a second community. And it's being involved in the community, and I never had that until this year.
That seems like a great event for kids.
For more information, go to www.stcloudstate.edu/reckids.
We'll be right back.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
St. Cloud State University's Mass Communications Department, providing you the hands-on experience needed to thrive in the professional media industry. With opportunities in television production from UTVS News, radio experience with 88.1 FM KBSC, the student newspaper, the University Chronicle, and live broadcasts of hockey with Husky Productions. St. Cloud State University's Mass Communications Department, where you run the show.
The Stearns History Museum is hosting an exhibit about some of Minnesota's most devastating natural disasters. It will be held until March 18th, and it shows some of the resilience of the state's residents. Let's see what this exhibit has to offer.
This exhibit is a traveling exhibit from the Minnesota Historical Society and funded by the legacy funds that were put together through our sales tax. And the funding goes out to support historical endeavors throughout the state of Minnesota. And the Minnesota Historical Society has put together, I believe, 6 traveling exhibits. And this is the first of 3 that we'll be having here on Minnesota disasters. And the exhibit talks about and addresses some of the things that have happened over the last 150 years here in Minnesota, from the cyclone or tornado that hit here in 1886 and decimated Sauk Rapids and turning St. Cloud into the commerce center that it is today, to the Armistice Day blizzard, flooding that happened on the western border of Minnesota in the Red River Valley, and other storms and events. Right here they're talking about the Milford Mine disaster, which I had never heard about, and happened in 1924. It really talks about the ability of human beings to make it through some of the horrendous things that have happened in Minnesota, and our ability to carry on. We've added our own elements. We've got things from our collections and photographs from our collections that are here in addition to what was sent to us from the Minnesota Historical Society. We have a beautiful shawl that was found after the tornado, and it was brought over to a center where people could claim their items, and no one claimed it. So the woman who took it back home, and eventually her family donated it to us. And we have a medallion from the Assumption Chapel, which was built by the people who were hoping that the grasshopper plague would disappear with their prayers, and it did. And the chapel was built, and a tornado hit it a few years later, and somebody saved the medallion, so we have that medallion in our collection. And we have some other wonderful pieces. We have something from the Holy Angels Church that burned down in 1933. And we were able to, someone saved a piece from that, and so we have that on exhibit. Everyone has some kind of memory, and to share about something that happened either, in their lives, or to maybe a family member or the town next to them. And I think that those are experiences that tie us together as Minnesotans. Weather certainly does. If you don't know someone, that's what you can always talk about, is the weather.
Here in the cemetery in St. Cloud, Minnesota,
they have part of the offering from the State Historical Society is a series of videos, small videos, and they're really touching and informative. They include even the 35W bridge collapse. And there's multiple things to see here besides this exhibit, but certainly I think this is worthwhile to come and see. And it will be here through March 18th. We're open 7 days a week. We're open Sunday from noon to 5 and Monday through Saturday from 10 until 5. And admission is $5 for adults, $2 for children, and that's for the entire museum, not just the exhibit. And members of the museum are free.
The Paramount Theater has recently expanded its visual art studio, from pottery to painting. The studio has a lot to offer.
The Visual Arts Center was added to the Paramount in 1998 with their renovation, and has expanded to include our ceramics studio, our hand building studio, our painting and drawing studios, and fused and stained glass studios. So our ceramic studio includes 15 electric wheels and 4 kick wheels. We offer classes to adults during the fall and spring semesters, and then we also have a youth program that happens during the summer. And we usually have around like 450 kids come to our summer camps. And we have a variety of glazes and different kilns that we can fire in here. We also have our hand building studio, which has a fully equipped slab roller and extruder and spray booth. We have our painting and drawing studio that has all the easels and painting and drawing equipment, as well as opportunities for people to come in and paint models and draw models. And we've got our stained glass and fused glass studios. and our weaving studio. We've got a great Thursday evening program called Open Studio and Teen Night, and it's open to people of all ages. You're welcome to come down to any of our studios. We've got mentors in our painting and drawing studio, our hand building studio, our stained and fused glass studio, and our ceramic studio. And recently we were lucky to have the Central Minnesota Woodturners Society come in and give demonstrations during those Thursday evening programs also. Those run from 6 to 9 p.m. and as I mentioned, they are mentored programs, and so you can come in with no prior experience, and it's a good opportunity to experiment with a medium that you're not entirely comfortable with or just starting out before you commit to taking the class, because you can come one Thursday or several Thursdays or every Thursday. They run from September through May, and they cost $10 for adults, 20 and older, and $5 for youth 19 and under. This is a great place to come down and just relax. As some of our other studio members may have already mentioned, we have a variety of people of different ages and different experience levels, and so it's a good place to come down and to relieve some stress, because art is a good stress reliever, and it's a good place to make a lot of new friends and meet some people that you might not otherwise ever meet in your day-to-day life. So the Paramount Visual Arts Center is actually located in the basement, or the lower level, of the Paramount Theater, which is in downtown St. Cloud. We have a website, www.paramountarts.org, or you can give me a call at 320-257-5928 if you have any questions.
It's good to see places like this offering opportunities for people to get hands-on with art. Stay tuned.
On the banks of the mighty Mississippi, just 70 miles northwest of Minneapolis. But from the central Minnesota community, you can see every inch of the globe. St. Cloud State University is an international campus large enough to bring you the world, yet small enough for you to recognize your place in it. As a leader in higher education in central Minnesota, St. Cloud State University programs have been recognized by nearly every major accrediting board, affiliated with our 175 academic programs. What's more, it offers a 17-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio, one-on-one attention, and hands-on learning. At St. Cloud State University, 92% of our graduates are employed in their field of study within a year of graduation. 15% of them go on to graduate school, and 100% of them make a difference. St. Cloud State University, stcloudstate.edu.
Danse, balance, suis la cadence, on devient tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence, dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou, ton
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Nationally acclaimed poet, actor, and playwright Ariel Lucky gave a keynote address at the 2012 Power and Diversity Leadership Conference. His take on education, art, and activism inspire and compel those who see his dramatic performance.
My name is Ariel Lucky, and I am the artistic director of the Free Land Project. So one of the things that I've found as I've toured the country going to schools and community centers and different organizations is the way that history is taught in this country, for the most part, is still very much outdated and very much culturally biased, representing a white perspective. And so one of the things I'm really excited about is breaking that open, and I do that through theater and the work that I do.
Connection to the land, but why don't my people have it? I try to understand. My family sold our culture for American whiteness.
But it's a part of a bigger conversation, bringing in all the different perspectives, right? So what is the Native American perspective of this history, et cetera, right? All the different communities that we are a part of. So I think the way that we learn history is really fundamental to the way we see the world and understand political issues of today. And so I think we all really need to take a really deep look and critical look at how history is being taught to children and in this country, and everybody really, and how that impacts our ability to live really in a equal and democratic and just society.
What am I doing here? Where do I come from? And what does it mean? Is this what they wanted in the American dream?
So tonight I'm going to be performing a keynote version of my one-man show, Free Land, which is a hip-hop theater documentation of my journey into my family history. Part of my family history is that my grandfather grew up on a ranch in Wyoming, and as a young man I was interviewing him and I found out that that ranch was actually a homestead. It was given to my family from the government for free, so it was free land. I started doing more research and found out that that was the very same place that there was a battle in 1876 between the U.S. Army and the Northern Cheyenne.
The Dull Knife Battlefield. This is it. This is what happened on that land.
And so I started recognizing that, you know, if that battle hadn't happened, if the Cheyenne hadn't been kicked off their land, my family would have not gotten the land, let alone for free. So as a white person, I've gone through an incredible journey really kind of digging into that history and reconciling with what it means for me today, 21st century, still living on stolen Native American land and still engaged in this process, raising big questions about justice, democracy, sovereignty, all of these bigger issues.
It was written, spoken and screamed, opening dreams of vision, provoking a stream of consciousness transition, this intuition to listen. We must make sacred decisions to listen.
So I'm really glad to be here at the Power and Diversity Conference to share my story artistically and theatrically and to help spark that conversation about what does Native American sovereignty look like, what does justice, democracy look like in this country today.
I almost believe you. I'm just playing.
So one of the things that was really powerful for me when I started doing the research on my own family history and learning the story about my family's homestead was that it's not just my story. In fact, studies have shown that 20% of white Americans alive today have at least one ancestor who homesteaded. So that means a lot of white folks in this country got free land, and that free land had been stolen from Native people. So it's one of those things that isn't very well known, isn't talked about a lot, but I think creates some of the foundational pieces of this conversation around diversity, around multiculturalism. What does that look like today? I think we have to address some of these issues of land ownership, citizenship, all these kind of fundamental questions as part of that conversation.
Anybody ever been out to California? Make some noise, I can't see you. All right, 3 people. Yeah, that's cool. You should come out and visit sometime. It's a great place to visit. How many people, make some noise if you're from St. Cloud? 3 more people, all right.
We hope you enjoyed the best of what we had to offer. Stay tuned for more exciting happening in St. Cloud area.
To see this or other shows again, catch us on UTVS Channel 21 or log on to www.youtube.com/ulocal.
Thank you for watching.